What particular play or school or that player that stands out in your mind the most, or
There's
just
only one.
and what is that?
What do you think?
Got it something to do with?
It's the quintessential person that I match every single high school player up to. This is the guy that, this is the yardstick for high school players. Ronald Curry.
Ronald Curry.
Mm-hmm. I saw him do things that I didn't think were even humanly possible.
Wow.
Denby had a defensive back that went on to play for Marshall. And Curry was playing, Hampton was playing Denby, and Curry got in the backfield looking for a receiver, and he got around the defense, he got around the offensive lineman, and he nailed him. I mean, he absolutely flattened him. And he's standing right over top of him. Ronald bounces up like a yo-yo, right? Looked him right straight in the eye. The officials come flying over there figuring there's going to be an outburst.
They just staring each other in the eyes.
Ronald was talking at him, right? I could see him talking at him. Next thing I know, he turns around, Ronald swats him on the butt, and he walks over to his dugout. The linebacker for Denby is just standing there, just like he had been glued, right? And when the officials get over there to where they are, Ronald has walked away, and the linebacker is just standing there. Well, finally, he ends up going back to his team.
Right.
So at the end of the game, I asked Ronald, what did he say to him? He said, I jumped up, looked him square in the eye, and told him, hey, man, that was a great hit. He said, I popped him on the butt and went on.
Wow.
Which is exactly what I saw.
Yeah. Competitor. Sportsmanship.
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
And there were other things that Ronald did that endeared him to me. Besides just being a great quarterback, I think he was probably one of the most humble human beings I've ever met. For somebody that had his athletic ability, for him to, he just never let it go to his head. His head stayed good and clean. Let me ask you another question. Michael Vick.
Michael Vick.
Okay, did Michael Vick and Ronald Curry ever play for the same team? Virginia High School Coaches All-Star Game.
Yes.
Ronald's a starting quarterback. He comes in, takes a handoff, shuffles it off to the quarterback who was at Kickotan, curls right around to his right, runs right by the defense, gets into the defensive secondary. Kickotan quarterback drops back, boom, hits him with a pass. He gets down to the 17 before they tackle him. So the first pass of the game, he hands off and then turns around and makes a catch.
That's why they call it an all-star game.
He was 6 of 11 in that game. I think he had 1 touchdown, he had scored 1 on a running play. Michael was 0 for 6. Of course, of that game.
That was an unbelievable all-star. Because they had a young man also in Blizzard on that team too.
Yep.
Yes.
So it was when he walked off the field, I made a comment. I was in the press box and I announced that game too. I looked at everybody and I said, well, that's the end of an era. But I haven't, I've seen some remarkable ball players in my life. But he's without question the best I have ever laid eyes on. And I would dare say that the 1996 Hampton High School football team, that is the best high school football team I have ever seen and very likely ever will see.
Right. Yes.
And I would dare say that was a team that could have beaten some colleges had they played them. Had anybody had the audacity to want to play them.
You call a lot of games.
I've been a lot of places. What's amazing is a lot of these kids know who I am. I can be in a grocery store and I'll get stopped and it's one of them. They'll ask me who they are. I don't know. I don't remember.
Right.
I don't know.
I totally understand
until they
that.
pop a name.
Yes.
Then when they pop a name, here comes the flow, right?
Yes.
I had a young man who had made a shot over, let's see, he was playing for Denby. And Reuben Wilson, you know him?
Oh yes, Reuben Wilson, yes.
Wilson made a shot.
High jumper, Reuben Wilson.
Wilson
yes.
made a shot in the corner in a postseason game that was being played at Warwick High School that won the game for him. He's got his wife sitting there now, right? And he stops me in a grocery store.
Yeah.
As soon as he pops that, here comes the flood of information. So he sits there and he's listening to this and I'm spouting it off just like it happened. Just like it had just now happened. His wife is looking at me, looking at him, looking at me, looking at him, and I'm pouring it out, right?
Yes.
And I told him about that corner shot he took. He says, "How do you remember that?" She says, "What's your name?" She says, "I don't want to ever see you again." She says, I'll never hear the end of this. So
that
we
was
talk,
wonderful.
Yeah,
yes.
we talk, but it's amazing to me how many of them remember who I am. And all I was just a guy there announcing a game. That's all. Having a good time at what I was doing and trying to do it the best of my ability.
I would say it started on that day when that guy said he can talk. And to that, and
It all
that's
started
when it
then.
started, because you started taking your notes. You started taking your information. You started talking to each other coach, and now look what we have. We're going on almost 1,000 games coming up.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
1,000 games is coming up, and it started. Hey, that guy can talk. Chase
That's
City.
where it all started. Now, as fate would have it, this year I ran into somebody doing the Coaches All-Star Volleyball game, a person who was from Chase City. I talked to a lady who was from there, and I immediately had her call her husband. And I told her husband, I said, "This is not probably the phone call you expected to have today." I said, "But I need to ask the question." Told him who I was. I said, "The first football game I ever announced was in your facility." I said, I've often wanted to go back to that one spot. I said, but I don't know if I could find it. I only went there one time.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave him a description of what it was. He says, "I know where it's at." He says, "It's the only field we've ever had there." So he says, "I'll mail you some instructions." He said, "If you come there, I'd like to meet you there." I said, "It's not a problem." So I got some information from him about a week ago. So I'm going to try to make some time, and I'm going to go to Chase City and stand in that field once again. It's given me one heck of a ride.
Yeah.
And I look at it now, I'm 72, 87 steps to climb up here. It's kind of tough now. You bought
Yes.
the box up here.
Yes.
So the steps, and the only health problem I have is knees. Of course, they have to get me up
Yes.
here. But I know that my time up here is growing short. I know I'm going to finish out this year. Very likely, depending upon what the knees feel like, I may do next year.
Mm-hmm.
If I do this year, next year, and one more, that'll put me here for 40.
Yes.
This will be, again, this is starting 38. I don't know if I'll go 40 or not, but I can tell you I won't go past 40. So my time up here is limited. There'll be another person that'll come up here and he'll start his venture and start off doing his thing with it. Dominic Velarde, I believe, is the guy that's we've
Yes.
all got earmarked to do that now. He's done a couple of games for me already
Yes.
that I couldn't do. I think he does very well. He's going to be the heir apparent to that particular job, I believe.
Have you thought about your last statement?
No. No, I haven't. I probably won't think about it either. Probably not until it happens. Even game number 1,000. I've guarded that. You don't even know when that's going to be.
Right.
And I have a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it gets out to what it is,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the press and everybody will blow it up. There'll be a lot of stuff going on involving that game.
Right.
The game is not played for me. The game is played for two teams that are trying to win games to get into postseason play. It's
Right.
about them, it's about the game, it's about postseason, it's not about me. When I come up here to do that game, I'm going to have some extra people here with me that were started out early on with me.
Yes.
We're going to start that game. It's going to be announced just like any other game. There's not going to be anything that's going to be said about it at all at the beginning, even through the first half. And once I get into the fourth quarter,
Mm-hmm.
I have a prepared statement that I'm going to make near the end of the game.
Yes.
But other than that, up until that point, just the people up here in the press box are going to know that that's going to be game number 1,000. But other than that, the people that are sitting in the bleachers are not going to know any different at all. I do not want to take the incident or the 1,000 game and overrun what it actually is. It's a game between two high schools playing each other, trying to win a game, get in postseason. I don't want what's happening to me to overrun that. It is still about them. It is still about the game, not about me. So therefore, it's going to be really hushed. I know when that game is right now. Weather, there's still all kinds of things can change it. We can have weather elements, and I could still, even at this late hour, have a change in the schedule that would alter which game that is.
Right.
So, not getting into any great thoughts about it other than the fact I know it's going to happen, and to a certain degree I'll be glad when it does happen, because then from there on I'll just be looking for that final game when I retire from that.
Yes.
I have had a couple of things that I really enjoyed doing, and I was able to walk away from them. Will I be able to walk away from this? I suspect that I will. Everything has a time when it comes to an end, and this will as well.
On that, Bill, I truly, and everybody that's heard your voice from Tar Stadium and beyond, thank you for what you've done for your community.
I think that football and the people that I have met, wow. And if we look back at that, had I not have done this, would I be here talking to you? No. And the countless people, I'm walking up the steps and someone will stop and talk to me about this or that or the other.
Right.
I can't begin to tell you how many people I've met through sports that I would not have met otherwise. And I would have been the loser, not them, but I would have been the loser. Just a ton of people. It's been an awesome ride. It really has. I was so fortunate to be at the right spot at the right time.